go. Down to about half HP backline here. Admiral Bulldog getting focused. He wants ending.
First blood. Dominating.
Oh, what a crit! For the throne! There's no blip! They power! F4's gonna try to jump to the right side. You won't make it there, but yeah.
Ultra
Do it! The Kings of the Dark Lion win!
Live from Singapore, live from the Suntec Exhibition and Conference Center, live with the two biggest MOBAs in the world. Welcome to the Singtel PvP Esports Championship 2018. I'm Matt Andrews and this is day 2 of our major tournament here in the beautiful city of Singapore. We're having a lot of fun before we crown our champions. That'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow is our big finals day across Arena of Valor and Dota 2. Champions of those will share our $300,000 prize pool and win some pretty sweet and shiny silverware in doing so. But to get to those finals tomorrow, we need to put some teams in them today. We're going to kick things off with Arena of Valor, the world's biggest mobile game and responsible for a big upset yesterday. It's a double elimination bracket, and remember we got to this stage by having national qualifiers, the PvP Esports Championship qualifiers in Indonesia, India, the Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, and here in Singapore. Those champions came here for a group stage, then 3 professional teams were invited here as well. And our first game today on the lower side of a double elimination bracket is going to feature one of those invited teams and the team who are second out of groups. Good scrap to come to kick things off on another huge day. Arena of Valor first and Dota 2 later on. But let's get the 2 teams onto the stage for our first game. And we start with a team representing one of the biggest orgs in the world. They're Flipsid Tactics. Here to show why they were one of the invited teams representing North America. They are Flipsid Tactics. They are ready to go. And they are Flipsid Tactics. But remember, this is a lower bracket side of things. Do or die time here if you want to progress towards getting anywhere closer to winning that trophy. And to do it, they'll have to beat Resurgence. Coming to the stage after their controversial group stage game yesterday, they are representing Malaysia. They are Resurgence. Resurgence and Flipsid, North America against Malaysia. Invited team against group stage national champion and qualifier. Yeah, this is a really, really good match to kick things off here on day 2 of the Singtel PvP Esports Championship. We'll go over to our brilliant analyst desk, headed up by Rene, and we'll get into this. It's a best of 1, and it's all do or die right now.
Thanks, Matt, and welcome to day number 2 of the PvP Esports Championship 2018. My name is Dale Marina Butler, and with me on the desk, I got all the guys that you normally want to swipe right on dating apps. It is Rip, it is Sujay, and obviously Affis, all the expertise you need to have to actually do Arena of Valor games. And we start off with Flipside Tactics and Resurgence. Before we go into how Resurgence got to this stage, let's quickly talk about Flipside Tactics. They got dropped down from the winner bracket.
Exactly. Yeah, they went up against Monster Shield, of course. And Monster Shield, you know, we didn't really know a whole lot about them, but they came out so strong yesterday. Flipside Tactics, I think they started off a little bit slow, but they really picked up in game 2, and then still just, they couldn't really push forward to get that win.
Yeah, and that's what they need to figure out against a team such as Resurgence with a strong early game. So really, the name of the game is going to be that early game. I'm going to look at North America, kind of learning from their mistakes a little bit from yesterday, because it is do or die. They need to survive this round to make it through, because the loser is going to say bye-bye.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They were the first team to play yesterday during day 1, so maybe they kind of need to warm up a little bit, so today might be a little bit different from them.
At least they hope so, because it is only a best of 1. We talked about that. It means you're out. If you lose, they go up against Resurgence. They had the game against Bigatron yesterday, so if you saw that, you might be a bit confused why they're here. So there had been a small, let's say, hiccup with the rules in terms of the breaks they actually called throughout the game, so it was decided to have a rematch, and that rematch was won by Resurgence. That's how they got here, so they actually really took that win in the end, made sure that they stay in the tournament instead of being eliminated. So has it any impact on those guys? I mean, yesterday, at one point, they thought they're out,
right,
and now they're back in. It's like, how do you feel as a player?
It's got to play with your emotions as a player, obviously, right? But at the same time, you've got to be super excited to be back in and like kind of seize the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, Resurgence, they showed a lot of weaknesses against Bigatron yesterday, so that's something Flipside can exploit. And I feel like with them now taking the win, it could be the needed momentum that could take them to a victory over North America. But we do know they have some star players like Z's on the team and Linky. Those two players, if they really shine, will give Flipside a lot of trouble.
I'm looking forward to RS on that crest as well. And not to forget, they played during the group stage, so that means Flipside Tactics definitely have a lot of experience looking at the VODs.
Exactly.
Before we dive into that game number 1 of day 2, let's have a quick look at Flipside Tactics.
My name is Drew Miller, or Always Green in-game. I play for Flipside Tactics. What made me choose Arena of Valor over the other ones was honestly the backing that Tencent provided. It just didn't, the other games didn't seem to have the support from the company level that Arena of Valor did, so that's what really forced my decision into it. This tournament means for us a chance to represent NA, who is, I feel, behind in Arena of Valor in the greenest scene, and it gives us a chance to prove that we can compete with the rest of the world as well. To prepare for this tournament, we practiced daily. We got as many scrims as we could with the other teams that are in the NA Valor series right now. So we get to play against the best in NA. Hopefully it stands up against the rest of the world. The team that I'm looking forward to playing the most is actually the team we were playing first. I was told that they actually have 3 girls on their team, and I think that esports is drastically needing a more female player base, and so that gives us a great opportunity to showcase everything there. My motivation is to continue to spread my story. Given anybody, doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, anybody can get into esports at any point in their life, as long as you follow your heart and follow your passion. And that's pretty much what this tournament means to me.
Playing against the best in NA, but now obviously facing some of the best teams in Asia. That is, we talked about different playstyles yesterday. It is a whole different story for all of them. You might get used to what is running in the Vela series, what is running in NA, and then you come over here and face completely different tactics and 4-man conversions of situations. So since they now had day 2, like they played in day 1, wasn't really that successful for them. Could it be better now that they saw more games?
Yeah, and they have to kind of adjust because Asia meta in general versus NA, both regions are actually very aggressive, but Asia loves to team fight and they know how to rotate and set up those picks. And that's what North America needs to be careful of, because we saw yesterday, Monster Shield really took advantage of Flipside Tactics, got a lot of ganks, and just basically won the early game so hard. And then Flipside didn't know how to respond to get back into the game. So I feel like if they completely give up map control and map dominance to their opponents and don't try to trade objectives or trade something else when they're behind, then they're going to slowly die a slow death.
Yeah, and I think that Optus had a great point. You know, Resurgence, obviously, they played through the group stage. There's a lot of VODs for NA to study up on here, whereas when they went up against Monster Shield yesterday, they really had nothing to study up.
It's not easy to study all that night. I know how beautiful Singapore is, right? I would be kind of tempted looking at the city rather than looking at VODs, but we hope that they actually looked at those VODs because we want to see a match that is really, really close. We had some amazing gameplay yesterday, and nearly all the matches, there was no match where it was super one-sided. Obviously, we had dominating series, but that's not what we're expecting the closer we go to the grand final. We talk about early game being super, super important. Since draft phase is coming up next, what do you think could they do on the draft phase side to actually have that early game domination they need?
Yeah, if Flipside study their opponents, Resurgence is very good at the Dragon side. They're at the 2-minute mark, they are rotating to Dragon, and Z's is very adept at stealing or securing the Dragon. So Flipside, they have to make a decision. Do I want to contest the Dragon and try to turn that fight around, or do I just trade and get a tower or trade jungles? They need to trade something and make a decision there. And I'll be looking at the 2-minute mark to really make my assessment in terms of how well Flipside can play against Resurgence.
You might want to take out Lindis away from YR because his positioning is just so good when it comes to just making sure he stays on the back lines, get into position before a team fight begins, just applies as much damage as possible. And it's really hard to catch on to the opponent's carry when the position is so out of sight.
Yeah. Commitment. Let's go quickly over that topic, since we had that yesterday in some of the matches, that you have, if you start a team fight, you actually have to commit. There's no other way, guys. Like,
yeah, you're committed,
like,
bro.
Yeah, if your friend is diving in, then just sitting back, laid back and watching it is not really a good option. So which team is more likely to follow, even if one of their guys might start a fight? That's not the correct one to pick right now.
I would say probably Resurgence in this one, right? Because Flipside, they seem really indecisive at a lot of moments. I think that's probably one of the biggest weaknesses I've seen out of them, especially if you looked at Game 2 yesterday when they went up against Monster Shield. You know, they had these moments where they could have pushed this tower or something. They could have made these decisions as a team, but they really were like heads like, oh, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't do it, man. Maybe it's a bad idea. So I'm really looking at Resurgence to be better at that aspect.
Yeah, and the name of the game is pressure. If Resurgence is going to be pressuring your bot side and your bot laner gets ganked and he dies, you have to pressure something else across the map and trade something. And that's something I think Flipside didn't do a lot of yesterday. They basically played passive the whole game. You know, they get ganked, they give up bot lane, and then they basically just continue to farm their jungle and didn't try to push or counter pressure against their opponent. So I feel like the focus there needs to be on trading so that when you do have these team fights, you can then commit and have the confidence to commit. Because when you're playing from behind, you know, the indecisiveness is going to really cost you.
Yeah, and you have to look at CLZ as well. He has to get the win, gets a hit in the jungle as well. With that being said, also to get to work with his team, rotations coming out from the side of Flipside, so it's very important to get ahead in the game.
What about switching positions? We saw some of the teams switching players. As far as I know, on Flipside Tactics, they went for a new approach in terms of where they put their players on the lane.
Yeah, Dave actually was switched to mid lane. He played side lane in the first game. Game 2 he played mid lane. I thought they performed better in Game 2. Dave actually played in mid lane for his former team back in North America on Immortals when he was the mid laner. So he has a lot of experience. He normally dominates his mid lane. And also in game, they had Chognar in Game 1, which wasn't really strong there, but then the 2-lane really made a big difference in Game 2. So I feel like they need to draft a more early game composition to be successful, because that's going to give you the confidence. If you're playing ahead, it's going to help you a lot.
When we talk about switching everything, we heard now that obviously you can switch a lane, that's fine. But what is the impact on team chemistry? I mean, we know that the Flipside Tactics team is kind of now, you know, be thrown in lineup right here. Yeah, that's how it is, right? So do they have a chance to catch up fast enough to create that chemistry that even if it's high-paced, exciting moments and those when it comes down to the wire, that they can stay as a team and know and read each other's plays?
Yeah, I think that, you know, chemistry is one of those things, obviously, that needs time to build, obviously. However, I also feel that in tournaments where you built it the fastest. So I think their experience yesterday as a team is really going to help them bond and grow quicker as a team. But the fact that they're still shuffling around players in different positions is a little bit scary at this point.
Yeah, the core is going to be Vare, Bruticus, and Always Green. They have more experience playing together. They play together longer, especially in Season 1 of Valor Series in North America. And that experience together has continued up to this day. Dave and CLZ have been on separate teams, actually. They have not kind of played together on the same team. You put two of those players who are very solid players in North America, and you combine them with the trio that is Always Green, Bruticus, and Vare. And that's something that hopefully the chemistry will start to form, especially it being day 2. And they've been practicing for this leading up to the event. So I feel like the synergy might show up today. It's going to give them a chance, hopefully, to give Resurgence a nice challenge.
Yeah, and you mentioned CLZ, sorry to cut you off, but you know, CLZ did really well yesterday, especially with the Slims, but I also, if I remember correctly, Zaze was also a Slims, right?
Yes,
and
yes.
since it's the best of one, only one of those guys can get Slims, or Slims might be taken off the board completely.
There's one I'll talk about as well, who's going to get the Slims, and that's going to be a big factor when you want to get those gangs, those javelins, when you get those javelins onto us, maybe even the carries on the back lines. That's one of the most important things. Also, the Malik as well. We see a lot of Malik plays yesterday, so Malik might be one of the most important picks today.
The start of day 2 is coming closer, but before we see the match between Flipsid Tactics and Resurgence, stop with a quick break, get everyone ready on the stage, and then we're right back.
Don't let the lag monster stand in the way of you and your games. Defeat it with Singtel's 1+1 Gbps Fiber Pro Gamer Bundle and enjoy dedicated gaming bandwidth. Razer's new Sela gaming router featuring zero-weight DFS and instant access to WT Fast GPN. Get Singtel's 1+1 Gbps Fiber Pro Gamer Bundle with WT Fast GPN and Razer Sela router at only $69.90 a month for the ultimate home gaming performance.
What defines an Aftershock PC? A passionate team of enthusiasts, building systems for gaming perfection. We take systems built to your exact requirements. Laptops that push the threshold in both power and portability, all carefully hand-assembled. To create sleek and modern solutions. The end result? A PC that perfectly represents you. Award-winning performance PCs, customized for you.
Everyone, stop and take note. Optus gives you better coverage in more places than ever before, so you can do more and more and more on your mobile. Are you with Optus yet? Optus 4G Plus, our best network ever.
let the lag monster stand in the way of you and your games. Defeat it with Singtel's 1+1 Gbps Fiber Pro Gamer Bundle and enjoy dedicated gaming bandwidth. Razer's new Zilla gaming router featuring zero-weight DFS and instant access to WT Fast GPN. Get Singtel's 1+1 Gbps Fiber Pro Gamer Bundle with WT Fast GPN and Razer Zilla router at only $69.90 a month for the ultimate home gaming performance.
Will take this series.
Travel is an opportunity to see the world from a different perspective. It's a gateway to learning more about myself. Every step takes me on a journey to the next chapter in my life. I travel because it shows me what I want to be. Free.
Back, it is PvP Esports Championship 2018, day 2 of the Arena of Valor playoffs. They still got those good-looking gentlemen right next to me to talk about all that makes that next game that we actually have coming up. It is Flipsid Tactics versus Resurgence, game number 1, and it is a best of 1. Just a little reminder, that means there's no second chance. If you f it up once, it's done.
Yeah, a lot is on the line. I mean, today we get to see who will make it to the grand finals, and 2 teams will have to say goodbye and go home. And this match could not be more important for Flipside Tactics' first Resurgence. So who will come out alive? The team from North America or the team from Malaysia?
I mean, I got my eyes on my team, man. Southeast Asian team, Resurgence. I'm definitely going to root for them.
Yeah, I mean, I tried rooting for Flipside yesterday.
It didn't turn out very
But
well.
I'm going to do it again today, whatever.
I mean, you should learn international events. North America just, you know, doesn't really fly.
You got to believe, man. You got to believe. You got to commit to believe. That's it.
He's the one guy that always picks that fight that he can't win.
Always.
Yeah. You know what? You always
I like
right.
the underdogs. You know, I like underdog stories. You got to do it for the guy who shouldn't win.
Were you saying NA is underdogs? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh.
But hope is not a strategy.
Which analyst desk have you been part of?
Hold on, look. You are in the group stage. Resurgence has victory.
Oh.
NA doesn't yet. That's where it's at. They're the underdogs.
That's true.
What happens if they win?
Then
what happens if they win?
Then you're all
wrong.
losers.
Yeah.
I'm the winner. See?
Well, if they want to win, they probably want to take Violet away from Z's because COZ, he's got to get ahead in that jungle, right? And I think a lot is going to rotate around those jungles.
We will find out because we got the draft on our hands.
Let's go.
We've got the first bets.
Xenial straight away coming up from the side of Resurgence.
Yeah.
Cricknack from Flipside.
I do like that because Z's is very, very good on that Cricknack. I do see them contesting for Violet here. I think they will probably ban Violet and maybe Aurum. Yep, Aurum's going to come out. I could see Omen showing up as well, but Violet would be a good ban here to deny it from Z's. And then you take the Slims away from him.
Yeah, let's see what Flipside decides to do for ban number 2 here. So you're suggesting go with the Violet ban here, maybe the Slims.
Yeah, Omen. Yeah, we had talked about Omen, Violet. Omen, Violet would make the most sense because those are first pick worthy, right?
Right.
And that's something that we see Resurgence just sell on.
Don't forget about Ares on that crash. Yeah, he made a lot of plays zoning with the Metamorphosis as well. That might be one of the priority bans from Flipside.
You think Crash is ban worthy at this point?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's so flexible. You can play him as a support. You can put him in side lane.
Oh, yeah.
So he's a very flex picks are always good to pick earlier in your draft phase because you can then adjust it based on what composition you want to run to respond to your opponent's picks.
But would you ban Crash?
There you ban
go.
Violet.
Interesting.
Wow, Z's, you're banning your own hero, man.
And your Chalkna is still in the game as well. What about Slims though?
That's the question, man. Maybe they want to first pick Slims.
Yeah, that's a little risky because Lindis is still open, right?
Oh, Valheim.
Lindis is still open, so they were probably will... Here we go. Yep, they're going to first pick
We were
Lindis.
talking about Lindis earlier on, one of the crucial picks currently right now during the group stages as well as day 1 here in the main event.
Yeah, so they don't have to worry about picking their Slims yet. They got a lot of time for that. So who is Flipside going to go with here first?
I mean, they can go for Teamy. They can secure Marja, very strong in the meta. They can go for Malik.
Yeah.
Malik is also very popular in at least the first 2 phases of the draft phase. Yep, they're Malik, and I would say Teamy. Teamy would be solid with the Malik because it's a lot of good protection and also engage potential as well. So I would love to see them pick up this Teamy here, but they could opt to secure like Irie as a really strong side laner. You know, Irie or Marja is very strong in side lane, so that could show up.
Yeah, 14 seconds to go. Thinking about it.
Yeah, the other options, you know, they have Scud, Lubu potentially, Ryoma is also very strong, but yeah, they're going to take Crash. Wow.
Yep, they take away Crash from RSO.
You think they're going to run that Crash side lane or support?
Side lane,
Side lane.
probably. But they can flex the support if they want to. So now with that Crash and Malik being picked up, they can secure some of the key side laners like an Ahri that can be a mobile assassin to jump on the back line there around the Crash. And also Teamy is still available. Teamy is very strong still as a support. So let's see if they do pick up the Chalknar or that Teamy.
Ooh, Liliana. Together with Chalknar, we're talking about this earlier on as well. Very strong front line, keeping the team alive. Whenever under tier 1 turret as well, because you're going to see a lot of ganks in this game.
Yeah, and with Liliana being picked up, that leaves a lot of options. Crixie is very good into Liliana, so I could see Crixie or Flash being picked up here. And with side laners, they still can pick. Again, that Ahri is very strong, so hopefully they do opt for that Ahri. But let's see what Flipside is going to pick here, because I want them to pick a very strong early game. They need to win the early game. Malik is very good for you early game.
Do you think Slims would be a great pick here for Flipside?
Ooh, Marja. Slims would be good. I don't think right now, though. You don't need to pick Slims until the very last pick. But Marja is very good. She's one of the strong... Oh, there we go.
And they're taking the Marja away from Resurgence as well. So it seems like they've tried to take a lot away from Resurgence outside of the ban phase.
Yeah, Resurgence could go for Ardrin. You know, Ardrin and Irie are really good because they combo with Liliana really well. Liliana has that Binding Light stun. Ardrin, oh, the Kilgroth could come out here. So Kilgroth is very strong mid to late game. He's a little weak early game though, and he will lose to a Marja, but will win against a Marja in the late game.
Yeah, we've seen his split push potential, and also we've seen his Kilgroth be pretty good on Love earlier, and there's Ryoma, who's also been pretty good for them on Dusk.
Yeah, Ryoma is a solid pick because he actually counters Marja. He has the range, he can poke her, and once he has Ultimate Spectral Ire, he can easily get the sustain from the life steal that it gives him on the minion wave. So he actually counters Marja, and we've seen him being picked into a Marja with great success. Like Muwan played it, for example, and also in other leagues across the region. Ryoma is a solid counter pick into the Marja.
Yeah, there it is, all locked in for Resurgence. That's going to be their squad going into game 1. What is Flipside going to close this out? What do you think they need here?
I mean, they could go for a Tulin. They could go for a Flash. Tulin's going to give them a lot of early game pressure with the Malik, with the Marja as well. So I could see that come out, but if based on what I'm seeing here, I think Flash would be better because he can poke the backline, he can get onto that Lindis and Liliana. And late game Flash is just very strong.
And the Cyclone as well. The Cyclone together.
Exactly, Cyclone with the... Oh, they're going to go with Kali. Change things up a little bit here. I do like Kali. It might be a counter to Kilgroth because Kilgroth likes to go in and basically face, get in your face, and Kali can just use her Ethereal Pulse and just blow up Kilgroth immediately.
And there you have it. The full squad set now for Resurgence and Flipside. Kali... Very interesting choice here coming out from Flipside, though. I think that's definitely the biggest surprise out of this crowd.
Yeah, I mean, Kali is a little weak early, but one thing that she does is she has her auto attacks do magic damage, so she can actually help push towers down very quickly with the Slims. And if you combo like the Shock Ultimate with her Ethereal Pulse and the Slims Flying Spear, that's going to do a lot of damage overall, and she can literally 1v5 once she gets to her late game build.
Any changes in predictions after you saw the drop?
I do like the Roma, I do like the Lindis, and honestly, that's a really strong early game for Resurgence, so I'm going to have to give it to Resurgence.
I mean, yeah, Lindis is high win rates, but I'm still going with my guys, Resurgence, man. Sorry.
It's best of one, and NA's picks, I feel like we're just kind of trying to, you know, surprise Resurgence at the same time, take away whatever they could from them, so I'm not really confident they're confident. So we'll see what happens, I'm going to stick with NA. It's not a prediction, it's just like a hope.
All right, we will find out in game number 1, Flipside Tactics versus Resurgence. And we've got two that know the battlefield very well because they call it their home. It's Rico and Opal.
Thank you, Renee, and welcome everybody to the caster desk. I'm Opal, joined by Riku, and we just had one hell of a draft, Riku, so this is going to be an interesting game to start off day 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of surprises, especially on the side of Flipside Tactics. We've never seen the Kali picked in this tournament from Flipside yesterday, and as well as the Crashed. So this is basically one of the things that probably what Fizz brought up, where they adjusted based from the group stages and took a lot away from Resurgence. So I'm super excited for this matchup.
Well, let's load on in. It's going to be Resurgence taking on Flipside Tactics. Only one core stands in your way. Moving on to the next round here. It is a best of 1, so let's see what these teams can do and how we're going to be looking to start off day 2.
It's all about that early trade.
Yeah, speaking of early trade, we're wondering how well this Kali would do for Dave. Already getting pressured there. We're going to see whether or not Resurgence wants to isolate that again.
Exactly. Good trade on that early flicker as well, but we'll have to see if ever these two teams finish off each other's camps, because most of the time what we've seen based from the previous games is that the early start not in favor, especially the mid lane. Linky.
Oh, Linky just stole that.
Nicely done. This is exactly what we've been talking about.
Yeah, unfortunately for Flipside, I'm interested to see here because, you know, when you take a look at the teams coming into this tournament, Flipside, maybe Resurgence was going to be one of the teams they could actually take a game off of coming on in. They weren't looking like the strongest team from the region.
Exactly, and now there's a different roster coming in with LCC2 playing from the group stages during Nationals. He wasn't around, and as well as the grand finale of the Valor Cup Season 3 that happened last weekend. So this seems to be a stronger Resurgence, and now they top the charts, especially during group stages.
Yeah, coming in second overall, and they have a fresh breath of life coming into this game because they were able to replay against Bigatron. So we'll have to see if they can make use of it. Still, nobody going down early here as we're about to hit that 2-minute mark. Still a lot of pressure, though, coming out from Resurgence, isolating toward the top side of the map, maybe looking to start up the Spirit Sentinel.
Yeah, will you look at that? They're pressuring the jungler here from the side of Flipside Tactics, and it seems to me Flipside is super wary of the aggressive rotation. Linky, tons of poke on towards Dave there.
I'm interested to see, because the issue that we saw with Flipside yesterday was they weren't able to evenly trade. So they just lost out on the Spirit Sentinel. You lost a little bit of your jungle. What are you going to get back in return? They have 4 members toward the Abyssal Dragon. They could trade the Might Golem for the Dragon.
We'll have to see, because Kilgroth actually spots this out. The decision now is whether or not Resurgence will be able to rotate on time, but it seems to me that they'll probably just try to concede and protect their Might Golem for that potential steal.
First Abyssal Dragon of the game going to go on over to the North American representatives. Let's see what they can make use of it. Dave has to be a little careful here. Chargnar also over toward the side. You get a nice still frame there. Beautiful. That looked beautiful, but you're speaking of beautiful right now. Let's see this engage coming on in through Flipside on toward the back line. Dave is still able to pressure out the damage, but LCC is on top of him. CLC is able to escape toward the side. Dave running up toward the top side of the map. Vior looking to stay safe here. They're getting toward this tower. And unfortunately for Resurgence, they aren't able to pick off any kills, so that will force Flipside to have to back off.
Yeah, Ryoma did a very good job, but hopefully it's not over.
They're going to try and get on to Always Green. Does have the ultimate not available yet, so unfortunately for him, he's going to have to back off. Already used it in the last engage, and unfortunately for Flipside, this is what happens. They get pressured, and then they start losing little chunks of gold here and there, and even starting to lose a bit of this tower in mid lane.
RSG is doing a great job creating pressure. Aris,
Dave. Close, but not close enough.
Yeah, close but not close.
But LCC, they're able to go ahead and dive underneath the towers. It gets taken on down. So first tower going to go in favor of Resurgence here as they open themselves up a small 500 gold lead at the 4-minute mark. For Flipside, what is the plan? What do they need to do here to kind of keep the game stalled out? Because this is the issue we see with Flipside. Both of these teams want to get ahead early. We aren't seeing that really from Flipside.
Yeah, exactly. It has been always Resurgence dictating the pace of the game, and one of the things that you want to ask yourself is, hold on.
Got an engage coming on over here. Super zoomed in, but we can still see most of that fight. CLZ over toward the side, not able to land the spear on time. That's going to be the transformation coming out from Always Green. But unfortunately for Flipside, once again, they burn these ultimates, but they don't get anything.
I know, because it seems to me Flipside Tactics decided to pressure up top because they feel like Ryoma later into the game is probably scarier for them than a Kilgroth. They feel like they can have the necessary CCs to actually shut him down, and that's the reason for the Kali pick in the draft. So that's the reason why they kept pressuring up top, but Abyssal Dragon is being started right now by Flipside.
Flipside looking to secure their second Abyssal Dragon of the game quite early. Does Resurgence try to go for the fight? Abyssal Dragon going in favor of Flipside. Engage now coming on over to the backside. LCC looking to try and jump on top of Dave. Does not find it. Vor has to use his ultimate defensively. Spear does not connect. Still nobody falling yet at 5 minutes into this game.
Super close match.
Doing a moonwalk.
Everyone's dancing. It's a party.
Dancing. Not too sure, but it looks like we do have ourselves a quick pause as we're likely going to see how this comes out. So everyone did a little jig in the jungle, having some fun. But in the end, it is Flipside taking the second dragon. I'm interested to see what's going to happen here. It still looks like we have a couple hands being raised by the players, so we might have a pause here quite shortly.
I find it super interesting that Flipside Tactics decides to play RSG's game. Okay, there's the flicker. Play RSG's game, because normally when I see a Kilgroth on the opposition, I'd want to pressure him, tower dive in, make sure that his growth is going to be slow, but First Blood finally goes to Lucas.
Is able to take it down, but they are going to trade yet another kill. So Flipside now down 2 members up toward the top side of the map, making a double kill coming out from Linky, and they want to keep up this pressure. Bruticus has to be careful underneath this tower.
Wow, RSG doing a great job there, punishing the mispositioning of a lot of members from Flipside, and now they want more. They want this tower, they want this dive.
Why are you trying to defend this tower? Sure, you can try and clear out the minions, but you're just going to get dove. and that's going to be an ultimate Liliana and a second tower here in favor of Resurgence.
They're getting a lot of objectives here. Resurgence not only got topside control, but allowing the Kilgroth to farm, and scale. I'm pretty sure Flipside is going to have a huge headache later onto the game.
Unfortunately there for Rudicus, I gotta ask, that tower was going down. You saw 4 members of Resurgence in front of you. Sure, there's a couple minions you could try and clear it, but is it really worth giving over cold for the kill on top of the tower? I gotta say probably not though for Flipside here, as well, we see a little box there of a dragon has respawned. Resurgence though are the ones to pick it up.
Yeah, 4-0 right now, and at this point, it is very, very amazing to see Resurgence play so confidently. And Flipside has to play on the defense mode at the moment as Kilgroth and as well as Lindis are at bot. Maybe Malik could get dove on.
LCC has to be careful here. He's got 4 members of Flipside right on top of him. But meanwhile in the bot lane, that's the Malik down. They do have the 1 cannon minion still available. Resurgence can push this.
Exactly, but as a consolation prize, Flipside Tactics decide to proxy the wave so that perhaps maybe if Resurgence rotates late, they could get an even trade onto that second outer turret at top.
It's going to be a trade of a second tier for the first tier tower up toward the top side. Still 3 members of Flipside looking to pressure, but guess what? The cavalry's around the corner. Always Green caught on over. Will likely have to use that ultimate to try and escape here. Stun's going to land. Uses the jump to actually get out of harm's way, but is a little bit low for comfort. Might have to back off. This does allow Resurgence to regain control in toward the river.
You can tell that Flipside Tactics has a lot of respect, but look at that, Resurgence still pushing on towards the jungle.
That's going to be the ultimate used there by Always Green. Love looking to be aggressive onto ZLZ. He's going to get the kill there. Shock comes back on down, but it's into 4 members. Dave outputting a lot of damage on over towards the side, but the Kilgroth is already on top of him. 2 kills, 3 kills going on over to Love, and he's going to be able to just survive. Over towards the side here. Flipside, they have to find an answer because this game is starting to roll out of control.
I know, Opal, and I mean, look at that. They are now suffering what they've started here as they focus on top side, and now Kilgroth is back online. 0 pressure onto this Kilgroth, onto Love, and he had enough amount of space to scale and properly transition to this point of the game.
And unfortunately there, like Dave did survive during the fight. He was able to get down the damage. Unfortunately, his front line just disappeared. He had the Malik Shock come on down into a brush of 4 members of Resurgence. Sure, you might get a little bit of CC, but you got to deal also with that Chugnar too that you got to worry about. It just feels like Flipside, the decision making still isn't there from what we saw in day 1.
Indeed, and it seems to be they're a little shaken a little bit as Darkslayer is being started right now. The question is whether or not Flipside is going to contest this one as they're getting poked from afar.
They're able to land the spear there onto the Liliana. Dave trying to get the damage on down, but fortunately the transformation is going to get Linky out of harm's way, and that's a Darkslayer now in favor of Resurgence, so we'll have that summon available, and we're now just going to go ahead and have the Enraged Abyssal Dragon where Resurgence have full control of the map.
Yeah, 10-minute mark, but look at this, going to be a 1v1.
That's going to have to use the ultimate defensively. Once again, Love already 2 levels above this Malik, and doing a little dance, but that's likely just the spectator bug.
Yes, sirree, as everybody else from Resurgence definitely would want to take advantage of the Darkslayer buff, probably want to clear the waves first and make sure that they have a really, really nice head start in terms of wave management. Look at Love here, so brave. Just right there, he could be CC'd if something hits, especially from the Slims, but look at the poke coming from Linky.
Drake summoned toward the top lane, going to start making its way toward the second tier tower. CLZ's jungle is being taken right in front of him. There's nothing that Flipside can seem to do. They're even being dove in between their towers. Rudicus has to be careful. Going to get CC'd upon, still has about 2/3 of the health. Always great, trying to clear out the wave. Drake is going to be aggroed on top of him. Still the poke coming on down from Resurgence.
Look at this 2-3 from RSG, so aggressive. There's the spear actually hitting, but no follow-up whatsoever. So much respect from Flipside, but look at the towers.
Shock going to come on down onto 2 members, but he's just getting ripped apart, and the high ground's going to follow with him as it gets taken on down. Flipside base now exposed. Can they trade back the kills necessarily? They take down LCC, but they only get the one member for a high ground tower.
I feel like that was a worth it trade. One death equal to a tower, a high ground tower at that. But look at what they're doing. It's a party brush.
Oh no, Flipside, there's the party. It's a surprise. CLC is going to be the one getting the cake as he gets taken on down. Fiora is also going to follow on through. Zaze is ultimate on the Lindis. Always Gree has nowhere to go. Double kill for the Lindis, and they are going to continue on forward. Still no minions though in the mid lane.
The mind games from RSG baiting Flipside into thinking they're immediately trying to get the enraged Abyssal Dragon, and just mind games, yes, they want that one. Flipside will probably learn from that one for sure. At this point, it is now Flipside trying to pick up the pieces, trying to get the resources back, but every single time RSG comes up on top.
This is Resurgence's game to lose, a 10,000 gold lead, 7 towers to 1 of Flipside. And they got themselves the Dark Slayer already. Drake was already used. The damage has been done. And with Flipside, their tournament hopes could be over.
Indeed, and I'm pretty sure at this point of the game, they're going to be heavily relying on well-placed metamorphoses and as well as the Kali late game. So intense amount of wave clear and a huge amount of damage coming from their mid laner. But you know what? Abyssal Dragon has been acquired, so additional battle stats for RSG. They will be even more brave, and the kill growth is getting even more stronger.
Yeah, the side lane is always going to be a threat here from Resurgence. Flipside have to figure out a way to stop it. Dave gets chunked down to just half his health from one stun coming out of Linky. Rest of the team still turtling in the base, but LCC, he's already on over the wall. He wants to have some fun. Flipside, though, still playing safe, but the minions starting to come on through. The decision will soon be made for him. The kill cross still pressuring up toward the top side of the map. Flipside still holding on.
Exactly, great 1-1-3. I know they might take advantage of LCC's mispositioning, but the wave clear coming from the Kali might prove it to be difficult for RSG to continue pressuring this bot high ground tower.
But guess what? Up toward that top side, the tower is being chipped away little by little every wave. And for Resurgence, it is just a waiting game. This does allow Flipside the opportunity to get a little bit more farm in their disposal, but unfortunately, they're going to lose out once again on a Dark Slayer that would be coming up in 40 seconds. The next Abyssal Dragon is just more and more they're going to lose for how little they're getting.
But the tower is getting chip damage at the moment.
LCC wants to try and go for the engage on toward the side. Not going to find it just yet. The Malik looking to zone him away. Bruticus still clearing out the waves in top lane. Gets chunked on down. That's going to be the stun. Luckily, the shield comes on through. We'll be able to heal back up at the base. Flipside, it's tedious. Their hopes could be one fight away from being destroyed. And that tower only has a third of its health left.
Yes, RSG, they're teaching us that patience is a virtue. They know that they're so close. They can see the core. And right now, I can see RSG's players. Yeah, hands up.
So,
see your hands up, yep.
Going to see exactly. Looks like we are coming back into the game. First game of the day. It does happen.
Yeah.
Live events, you gotta love them. For every game, something always is up. But for Resurgence, Dark Slayer going to be on the table for them. Flipside, they don't really have much options available for them to try and push out or maybe try and do anything. If they're able to get the pick off on the Kilgroth, maybe they can make something happen with the ensuing 4v5, but still a long road to climb here as we approach the 15.5-minute mark. Dark Slayer now in favor once again of Resurgence.
I mean, after that party brush, they're afraid that maybe this might be a potential bait. But now, just as you mentioned, Dark Slayer has been acquired, so for sure, the Drake at top side that will be summoned will help out finally clear that high ground tower.
LCC does get hit there by the spear. My question becomes for Resurgence. They've had this massive advantage here for the last couple of minutes. They have not been able to push on into the base. This is a side of weakness that you want to try and shore up if you're going to continue on into the tournament. They got to look for it. Always Gree almost gets taken down. Drake now knocking and chipping away at the top high ground tower. Bruticus also almost getting stunned up there by LCC. There has to be careful. The Malik goes on down. That's going to be game likely now as Resurgence look to finish off the final fight in the base of Flipside. Oakstreet gets the Metamorphosis, but it might be too little, too late. The rest of the team on top of the base. The core's the target. Resurgence move on.
There you have it. RSG moves on, and such a dominating performance, such control from early to late game. They were so very confident with the way that they move. And the thing is, getting that Dark Slayer, they're not afraid about that Kali poke because they have that really nice HP regeneration buff. So it's game, we don't have to go home. And right now, they don't have to go home.
And unfortunately for Flipside, they themselves will be heading on home tonight. They are now eliminated from the PvP Esports Championship 2018. And they'll be able to enjoy Singapore for another night at least, be able to get some fun. And for this team, you know what? You gotta be at least happy. You got some international experience, considering this is a team not actually in the Valor series in North America. You know, competitive play, they don't have a whole lot of options. So coming out here, playing against some of these East teams, you gotta be happy with it. Just get the experience.
Exactly. Imagine starting from Valor Cup Season 3, we were wondering what's going to happen. What is their performance coming into PvP Esports, as, again, they were one of the weaker teams during Valor Cup Season 3, but now, look at them. They've improved so much.
It looks like a completely different team from what we saw earlier on in the year, like you mentioned, and got to factor in some of those roster changes. You know, LCC now eligible to play, which is important, and that's also a lot of pressure on top of that. You know, he's a very young kid coming on into this, a young player, and just turning 16, now being able to play on the stage, he's got to feel pretty good.
Exactly. Completely agree with you there. I'm pretty sure you had a fun time in that match, Opal.
Well, I think that's enough from me and you, Riku. We're going to go ahead and throw it back on over to the analyst desk with Renee.
Themselves yesterday, and then today just coming in, eliminating Flipside Tactics. That is a strong comeback, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, they played so well, but Flipside actually did a great job. 5 minutes in the game, the goal was even. They got both the dragons, the first two dragons, so North America was looking pretty good. And then 6 minutes, everything fell apart. Linky got the 2 kills. They invade top jungle. They get the third kill. They take the top tower, and then it just goes south for Flipside from there.
Let's not forget about Love, that top fight when he just went under that tier 2 turret. Okay, you know what? I'm going to get 1 kill. You know what? I'm going to go for more. Double kill, triple kill. He just went ham.
He got a quadra kill.
Quadra kill.
Yeah.
It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, dominant stuff from Resurgence overall, I felt like.
Really no one mentioning that face first brush check by Slips.
I mean, that was
yeah,
I was waiting for everyone to say that, like, that was an amazing moment.
I'm waiting for the replay, actually. There should be a replay for that.
I mean, at that point, it was already kind of done, right? They're just like, you know, if we just hide in this brush, I think they're going to walk on by. And when they come on by, we got a good surprise.
I love this moment when everyone is watching it. It's like everyone is aware this will happen.
Yeah, this was a key critical turnaround here. There's 3 kills. Linky gets this 2 kills. And then Zzer comes up, gets the kill, and always green. Then Bruticus hangs around for some reason and gives another 4th kill. They lose top line. This is where Love gets the quadra kill. Watch this kill graph coming from the back and just taking names and killing 2 of members of Flipside.
Look at how dominant it just goes in. He's really low in HP, but he still proceeds to just keep getting kills after kills.
Yeah, I thought that was actually an opportunity for Flipside, but yeah, this was the big brush gank, and man, oh man, was that a nice surprise for him.
Yeah, and that's why as a tank, you always want to Facebook first, and always green. Probably wanted to check that bush out first, but very smart, clever positioning by RSG there. They constantly caught off Flipside 3 times in these 3 replays, and that's what really won them the game, gave them such a huge 10k gold lead at the 16-minute mark.
And a lot of the team fights actually, you know, I think that Flipside got RSG really, really low. They just couldn't go in and close them out.
Yeah, it was a lot of reactiveness there, and Flipside, I felt like they needed to, again, put the counter pressure. You know, you have to be the one that initiates, and I felt they had some good opportunities. They never comboed the Crush Metamorphosis ultimate with the Malik Shah, and it wasn't a lot of initiation from them. They just basically reacted the whole time, and you can't win a game playing reactive.
We said the early game is the most important part going into this, but it seemed like it wasn't in the end, right? So
yeah,
what turned it around?
Yeah, it was, again, that 6-minute mark where the rotation from Resurgence, their proactiveness, they caught off the Flipside in their jungle, got 2 kills immediately, got the 3rd kill, and it took the top tower. And I felt like Flipside didn't know how to respond after that.
Yeah, I felt like Flipside had a lot of opportunities as well. When Malak went in, when Resurgence tried to go high ground, Crash was all the way all the way in the base, and I'm not really sure why he was there. Could have actually jumped in with the Metamorphosis after the Malak ultimate, but I mean, it happens, right?
Yeah, just that synergy between Crash and Malak, they weren't really syncing up. You see it right there, the MVP of the game, there's Zays. With the Lindis this time, it doesn't really matter who you put this guy on, he's going to put in work. 4-0-7, that's pretty darn good.
And that's why they first picked that Lindis for him, because she gives so much pressure with her kit there, just constant damage coming out, and when she gets ahead, Slim's a really tough time coming back.
4-0-7, I just want to say that's always how it looks like from me and Soloco. Just saying. Just a small, highlight to let people know that I actually do really good. No, probably not on Lindis. But
maybe with Lindis.
Yeah, maybe I should try. No, let's have a quick look at the bracket instead, because that means now we have the first game of the day. Flipside Tactics, they're out. Resurgence go through. Next up is obviously Legend of the Kid versus Tamago, and Tamago is so far super dominant. Then we jump on Monster Shield versus Alpha X, and then we have another game on the side of the lower bracket before we have the big 2 matches tomorrow coming up.
The next 3 matches could go either way. I mean, Tamago and their opponents, Legend of the Kid, probably very close in skill level. And of course, Monster Shield and Alpha X, the 2 best teams probably in this competition. They're expected to make it all the way. They're going to go head-to-head, and that's super exciting for me.
When it comes to the overall picture of the current PvP esports championship, when we're not going for the obvious Alpha X, because they obviously dominated all the previous games we had, who is likely to end up, or could be a surprise, to actually be in the grand final? Not winning, just being part of it.
I think right now Monster Shield is definitely the favorites, right? They're on the winner bracket. They looked extremely good yesterday in their match, and depending on how they do here against Alpha X, I mean, when I'm looking at Resurgence played pretty well right now, but can they take out Monster Shield? That's really still questionable, right? And then you've got Tamago and Legend of the Kid below that. I don't know, it's hard to say. I feel like, to me, Monster Shield is still the one I think could come back in the grand finals.
I feel like Tamago and Resurgence might actually be one of the teams that pull an upset on towards one of the teams that goes down to the lower brackets. They are looking really strong. I mean, you've seen how Resurgence has performed in the first game, and Tamago, they're a pretty strong team as well. So I'm really looking forward to see what comes up next.
What comes up next is the game between Tamago and Legend of the Kid. We'll see all of that right after the break.
Like, you just win one game and you get advanced in the bracket, they're right.
Now we welcome 2 more teams.
Don't let the lag monster stand in the way of you and your games. Defeat it with Singtel's 1+1 Gbps Fiber Pro Gamer Bundle and enjoy dedicated gaming bandwidth. Razer's new Zilla gaming router featuring zero-weight DFS and instant access to WT Fast GPN. Get Singtel's 1+1 Gbps Fiber Pro Gamer Bundle with WT Fast GPN and Razer Zilla router at only $69.90 a month for the ultimate home gaming performance.
What defines an Aftershock PC? A passionate team of enthusiasts, building systems for gaming perfection. We take systems built to your exact requirements. Laptops that push the threshold in both power and portability, all carefully hand-assembled. To create sleek and modern solutions. The end result? A PC that perfectly represents you. Award-winning performance PCs, customized for you.
Everyone, stop and take note. Optus gives you better coverage in more places than ever before, so you can do more and more and more on your mobile. Are you with Optus yet? Optus 4G Plus, our best network ever.